All right, we just finished up listening to President Biden unveil the second portion of the infrastructure package. What did we hear, and what are some of the key takeaways? Let's talk through it. But hey everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video. Thank you so much. Let's talk through this. So he spent a considerable amount of time at the beginning of his speech actually talking about the first iteration of the infrastructure package. Now, this is the one that he unveiled a few weeks ago that is strictly focused on infrastructure. This one, he said, is going to create millions upon millions upon millions of jobs, and he gave a few specific examples of different projects that would be included within that infrastructure bill. Good stuff. And then he got on to unveiling the second portion of the infrastructure package, otherwise known as the American Families Plan, or as some people are calling it, human infrastructure. Also, he did say something in his speech tonight that I don't think was necessarily in his script, and I think it maybe caught a few people off guard. So we'll talk about that here in just a second, and we'll also talk about what he did not mention in his speech tonight. But first off, let's run through the details of Infrastructure Package 2.0, and then we can talk about other things here in just a second. So, it came in literally exactly as we were anticipating and what I mentioned in my previous videos. Let's burn through this really quickly. So, there is money in there for access to pre-kindergarten for 3 and 4-year-olds. There's also money in there for free college tuition for community colleges for any American. Yes, literally any American. So you could go back to college if you want to a community college based on this plan in the infrastructure bill. So I guess if you want to go back and, study something at a local community college, I guess you can do that, I guess. That's just what it says. So, of course, you can't go out today and go to a community college quite yet for free. It would be only if this bill actually passes. So, that's in there as well. There's also expansion of the Pell Grant for low-income and minority students. There's also paid family and medical leave. Now, this is a big one that he really hit on. He said that people could get up to 12 weeks of paid time off and up to $4,000 per month for this paid family and medical leave. So, wow. I mean, that's actually a pretty big one right there. He also mentioned the child tax credit. Now, this one is actually not new, but there is a new provision about it. So this child tax credit was actually passed within the last stimulus package that was passed about a month and a half ago, that $1.9 trillion package. Now, the child tax credit is as follows, the numbers anyway. Actually, in his speech, he said the numbers wrong, but let's just run through the numbers really quickly. So any person, a single person with children under the age 18, so 17 and younger, earning under $75,000 would be eligible, and any couple earning under $150,000 with eligible children within the age parameters that I'm going to mention here would be eligible for this. Let's run through the numbers here. So, any child under the age 6, so 5 and younger, would be eligible for $300 per month or $3,600 for the entire year. So, nice, not bad, right? And then any child aged 6 through 17 would be eligible for $250 per month or $3,000 for the entire year. Now, what has actually changed about all this? Well, originally in the stimulus package, the $1.9 trillion stimulus package that this was passed in about a month and a half ago, this was only for 2021. However, he wants to extend it out in this infrastructure package out until 2025. So that would be pretty big too. For all those families that would be eligible for this, that would be massive. I mean, huge. Thousands upon thousands of dollars each and every year per child going forward through 2025. So, interesting. So, yeah, it came in basically exactly as we were anticipating. Now, what did he say in his speech that I think caught people off guard? He mentioned passing the $15 per hour minimum wage. I honestly don't think he had planned to mention that. He just kind of came out, maybe. But either way, maybe it was in the plan. I don't know. It just, the way that the delivery came, it just didn't seem like it was planned to be said. But either way, he called on Congress to send him the provision to pass the $15 per hour minimum wage. Now, you just have to remember, too, this is not like, boom, snap your fingers and you got $15 an hour. That's not really how it works. It's actually a step up program. So over many, many years here, through between now and 2025, it would actually step up each and every year up to $15 per hour. So that's how that whole thing would actually work out. We'll have to watch that and see if it actually works its way through Congress and gets to his desk. Now, what did he not mention tonight? Now, don't get me wrong. There were a lot of things that were mentioned. I mean, there were a lot of words that were used in his speech. I mean, he talked a lot about a lot of different things. However, he specifically did not mention a few things. And to be totally honest with you, we actually were not anticipating him to even say a single word about this. And that is stimulus check number 4. Now, I've said this so many different times in videos leading up to today. I said, hey, when he unveils this thing, he's not going to mention stimulus check number 4. Like, there's a very low likelihood that he will talk about stimulus check number 4. And he did not say a single word about it. I mean, literally, he did not hint about it. He did not talk about it. He did not say even nothing. Literally, he did not say a single thing about stimulus check number 4. However, he did talk about stimulus check number 3, and he talked about the massive impact that it has had on people. In fact, he gave a few case studies and a few people that have reached out to him in letters, or I'm not sure how the people contacted him, but he referenced a few different stories of people that have contacted him saying, you know, the relief check, he called it a relief check in his speech tonight. The relief check, you know, did this for me and my family. For example, maybe there was like a woman that it saved them from eviction out of their apartment, like her and her son or something, I think he said. So yeah, I mean, you know, he did reference stimulus check number 3, the $1,400. But again, not a single word about stimulus check number 4. But I said this for so many days leading up to this. I said there's probably not going to be a single word about stimulus check number 4 unless he has some goodies in his little bag that he's going to pull out, and it's a surprise for everybody. But honestly, that's not really how these things work. They don't really come out and say, hey, surprise, check it out. I'm wrapped up in a present with a bow on my head, and this is what you're getting. That's not really how these things go, right? It's usually not much of a surprise what's going to be mentioned, because it's usually leaked, and we usually get all the information as to what's going to be mentioned, you know, usually a couple days in advance, or at least a day in advance, or sometimes same day of. But either way, what else was not mentioned? And that is the raise for SSI benefits. Now, I've talked about this a few times over the last week or so now, and this was not mentioned. Again, this is also something that I said leading up to today. I said, please don't get your hopes up. He's not going to mention it. And exactly as we planned and anticipated, not a single word was mentioned about any kind of raise to SSI benefits, Social Security, disability, survivors, retirement, anything like that. It was not mentioned. However, should we start to worry? Honestly, no. I would not worry about it. The reason for that is this raise that these people in Congress, the lawmakers are proposing. They wrote up that letter, as you could see the other day. Corey read that letter to us. If you didn't see that video, scroll back in my videos and check it out. It was just from a few days ago. The title is something like Official Letter, SSI Raise, or something like that. It starts with official letter. Go back and watch that video. Corey reads that letter to us in that video, word for word, exactly as it's being proposed by all of those lawmakers to raise SSI benefits to 100% of the federal poverty level. So check out that video for the full letter. But either way, not a single mention of it. I wouldn't really worry about it, just like stimulus check number 4. Simply because he didn't mention it does not mean it's not going to happen. It simply means he unveiled the foundation of this second iteration of the infrastructure package. Now, all of these lawmakers are looking at it, they're licking their chops, and they're saying, hey, looks good. Looks like a nice little meal we got here. What else can we put on top? Can we drizzle a little chocolate on top? Can we drizzle a little syrup on top? Can we drizzle it with chocolate chips on top? You get what I'm saying? So this is just the foundation. This is the foundation that's going to hold everything, and they're going to start building stuff on top of this. So I think over the coming days and weeks here, it's certainly going to be very interesting to see how much more lawmakers start piling on top of this thing, saying, okay, we got a great base built here. We've built a really nice base and foundation. What else can this thing hold up? You know what I mean? Like, how sturdy is the foundation? And then based on how sturdy the foundation is, how high can we go? How much weight can we put on this thing? How much can we possibly pile on this thing before it potentially risks being tipped over? You know what I mean? So I think over the coming days and weeks here, we're going to see a ton of proposals and pushes out of Congress. You know, people, lawmakers coming up with proposals and different ideas and plans saying, we want this and we really need to add X, Y, and Z to infrastructure plan number 2. Get what I'm saying? So over the next couple of days here, we will certainly need to watch this, including certain things like stimulus check number 4, recurring stimulus checks, this raise for SSI, as well as expansion to Medicare and all of this other stuff. We'll start to see all this start to be piled on here over the coming days. Either way, I will keep you posted, but that's basically what he covered tonight. Trust me, he said a lot more than this. Really, he did. But this kind of boils it all down to, in, simple terms, basically what was covered in about an hour and 5 or 10 minute speech that he had tonight. So, hope this helps you out. I will keep you updated with everything that comes out over the coming days. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video if you haven't done so already. And feel free to check out that other video that I mentioned, the one that says official letter, to talk about that SSI raise proposal that we're talking about. So, thank you so much, everybody. Have a nice evening, and I will see you